Thank you for joining me for lesson 151 of our daily Sefer mitzvahs study. Today we've got 4 mitzvahs. 3 of them are negative and 1 is a positive mitzvah. So it's negative 85, negative 82, positive 34, and negative 86. All of these are now in the category of vessels or furniture of the temple. And so we're starting out with a mitzvah that's very close to a mitzvah that we had yesterday. Yesterday we had a mitzvah that you're not to make anointing oil like the anointing oil that was used in the temple to anoint kings and priests. But this one is regarding the incense. Exodus 30, verse 37 says, "You shall not make for yourselves uh, incense according to its composition." So we're forbidden to produce incense that's like the formula or the same formula of the one in the temple for the sake of enjoying its scent. All right. Exodus 30, verse 9 gives us the mitzvah regarding what we are and we are not to put on the golden altar in the temple. So there was the altar that sacrifices were placed on. There was a golden altar, and so the golden altar is a different altar than the altar for the sacrifices. And so on this, you're not to offer on it any other incense other than the incense that was to be offered in the temple, that was made and formulated and ground especially for the temple, for this altar. And you're not to put a burnt offering on it or a meal offering on it. You don't pour out a libation on it. There are only certain times when blood would be applied to that altar, for instance, on Yom Kippur. All right, so that is the golden altar. Next, we have the transportation of the Ark of the Covenant. So the Ark of the Covenant, or the Aron HaKodesh, it we have instances in the Tanakh, where we see examples of the ark not being treated the way that it should be treated. It's supposed to be carried upon the shoulders. So the Kohanim, the priests, are commanded to carry the ark containing the tablets on their shoulders when necessary to transport it from one location to another. The Levites were originally entrusted with this task, but that was in the desert when the Kohanim population, or the priests, they were a very small group. But in every future generation where they were a larger group, the task was reserved for the priesthood. So they carry the ark upon their shoulders. And how do they do that? They do that with the poles in the ark. By the way, if you're looking at the Ark of the Covenant, and if this is like the Ark of the Covenant, in most movies you see the poles going through like this. So on the long side you have the poles. However, in reality, we learn that the poles actually were along the short sides of the ark, enabling someone to actually carry it on their shoulders rather than like this, and it wouldn't be so convenient. You had to have the priests be able to carry it upon their shoulders. Now, once you've got the ark in the Holy of Holies, you could just remove those poles, or that would seem to make sense. However, Exodus 25:15 gives us the mitzvah not to do so. There it says, "The poles shall be in the ark's rings; they shall not be removed from them." So the poles even have this status of holiness. It's forbidden to remove them from the ark, and they had to stay in there, um, and so the poles of the ark would go out toward the curtains of the Holy of Holies, and back away from the curtain, and so that's the way the poles were kept, and never to be removed. Even though you may have seen in movies where they remove the poles and they put them in, um, this was not the case. This was a mitzvah to always keep them apart with it. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. We've got more to talk about on this on similar subjects. So thank you very much. Have a great day in every way.